Hey everybody, Dutch Sense here. 4:17 p.m. Central Time on Monday, November 5th, 2012. And I've got you over here on my website. I'm going to put a link down below for this so you can follow along, go through everything I'm about to talk about here. But what I'm getting ready to go into, guys, is something that's been studied now for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, by myself and dozens of other researchers around the world. And we can pretty much view this as a confirmation, 100%, that NEXRAD radar, in conjunction with other more powerful systems, is being used to control the weather, or at least attempt to control the weather. So, what I'm going to take you through are a series of posts. This is part 1 and part 2. If you're not familiar with the subject at all, you're going to have to go read this, along with both HARP posts that myself and Resonated have done, to bring yourself up to speed onto what I'm going to show you. However, even a simple breakdown of what the events are will lead to a general understanding of what they are doing and what has been done. Now, the most recent evidence comes from Hurricane Sandy. Now, to understand what happened with Hurricane Sandy, we have to go back a year to Hurricane Irene in 2011, in August of 2011. So, I'm going to take you to the first screenshot here. You guys need to go watch this video that Resonated did. It's an hour long. He takes you through part 1 and part 2 of this on hurricane weather manipulation from cloud seeding, which is a slang term, is called chemtrails, but we should call it cloud seeding. That's the proper terminology for it. So, heavy cloud seeding activities before Hurricane Sandy, then a series of high frequency pulses occurred. Now, this is a screenshot. And what you'll see here is, of course, the back end of the hurricane down here near Florida and a high frequency microwave pulse coming into the back of the storm. And then also there was a high frequency radar pulse from a NEXRAD radar station along the coast of North Carolina. And the storm went right north of North Carolina, made a left-hand turn, and turned into the east coast. Now, if that was just on its own, we could say, okay, that's just some kind of strange anomaly, only happened once. But if you go back a year to Hurricane Irene, and we'll wait for this to load here, the same thing happened. Now let me zoom it in here, click on this screenshot, and I'll take you over to show these to you on Climate Viewer as well. But the screenshot shows it. Okay, here's Hurricane Irene, and you can see the high frequency microwave pulse coming in from the same direction, and then a NEXRAD radar flash out of North Carolina. That's very interesting to see that happen 2 years in a row, only during hurricanes. To me, what that says is that both of these frequency flashes from the NEXRAD stations and both microwave pulses coming from down in the direction of Arecibo and Puerto Rico are indeed intentional. Now here's Climate Viewer 3D. Jim Lee has put these plotted out so you can zoom in, you can turn them on and off on each side so you can see each individual flash. And there we go. So you can see this is Hurricane Sandy, this is from the CIMSS. So we'll turn that off and we'll go look at Hurricane Irene. Alright, same thing. When it gets near the Bahamas, the back end of the storm is being pulsed by a high frequency microwave. And then again, a pulse comes out of the NEXRAD station. And what that says to me again is that there is an intent to the flashes that are occurring from ground-based stations. And that brings me back over to the whole post here, which you can go down through, and I lay it out for you point by point. And that brings us back ultimately to tornadoes and storms being caused by these high frequency pulses. We have seen these types of pulses come out of Key West. We've seen them come out of central Oklahoma, multiple places around the country, and within a certain amount of time, we see storms come to the center of those pulses. Now, I've assembled all that information. I'm going to put a link down below for this. If you're still skeptical after seeing all this, you can come through and look at each confirmation. So when I see a pulse appear, make note of it, and come back and follow up as to whether or not the location gets hit with storms. Now I have several video confirmations. You scroll through those, and several text confirmations. Most recently being on October 22nd out of Lubbock, Texas. We had a frequency flash, make note of the area of the high intense flash, and then I issued a warning, say watch it for 48 hours, and within 48 hours look at the area where the high frequency flash was. We had hail, strong damaging winds, and look around the area. It's the only spot to get hit within 48 hours. And that went away the next day. That's just one example of over 50 that I've got on here. And then on top of that, now we have it. We have proof. And multiple researchers agree with me. This is not just me. This pulse going into the center of Sandy at the same time that happened, within the 24-hour period of that occurring, we saw a possible tornado detected in Puerto Rico, where Arecibo is located. Arecibo being up here on the north part of the island. So that's pretty interesting. And I'm considering this a full-on confirmation for us that pulses of radar are intended to do something inside of a storm. It's not just an accident, and we can just go with that. We'll have to figure out what is being pulsed, what frequency. Now that we know that there is an intent, that they're doing this during a hurricane 2 years in a row, and we know there's an intent, with the microwave background imagery here, that there's high frequency pulses coming from out to sea or down near Arecibo. Hang in there, folks. Much love to everybody who stood behind me on this, and to all the other researchers who put time and effort in on this, to Resonated, to Daw Design, Tattooed 1009, Bethany Home 7, Warren Error Daily Cost, all the people in the Adepto or Perfectus group, the Facebook groups, the Google Plus groups. All your work has paid off. So in the face of adversity, of all the people who denied, that said that it could not be done, well, here it is. It was done twice. Only during the hurricanes. Only from the certain station in North Carolina. Only coming from the southeast tip of the storm down near Arecibo. The chances of that happening just by accident. So now we know what we need to pay attention for, folks. And much love again to everybody who stood behind me on this. There was times where I really seriously wanted to quit, and I'm glad we didn't. Last year, if we weren't paying attention to Irene, this year the puzzle pieces wouldn't be put together. And now you see the relation. Cheers, folks.